Congrats, you made it to day 5 and it's the final class. As we are about to end this course, I wanted to leave you with some helpful tips that you might want to help you in your photography. Use the camera that you already have. Now, I mentioned this in the beginning, camera gear is not all that important. What's more important are your creative skills and knowledge of camera settings. Focus on those efforts instead, not collecting camera equipment. Work on your composition. To take engaging photos, you need to be engaged with what you're doing. Don't just fly on autopilot. Instead, put some thought into your composition and try to make your photos as good as possible. That starts with knowing the basics on how to compose good photos. Don't just cut off important parts of your subject with the edge of your frame. Keep your horizons level and try to eliminate any distractions in your photo by adjusting your composition. To see if your photo has a sense of balance and simplicity, and if your photo doesn't look as good on the first try, keep experimenting until you get it right. Pay attention to the light. Probably the single most important part of photography is light. If you've taken a photo with good light, you've taken a huge step forward in getting a good picture. But what counts is good light. It's not all about sunrises and sunsets. The easiest way to solve this is to pay attention to the direction and softness of the light. If the light is too harsh, you could get bad shadows across your subject, which is especially a problem for portrait photography. If the light is coming from an unflattering angle, see what you can do to move the light source if you're in a studio, or move the subject if you're outdoors, or wait until the light is better if you're doing landscape photography. Take your time. It is easy to make mistakes in photography if you aren't careful. The best way around this is to slow down and take your time whenever possible, particularly when you are beginning to learn photography. First, double check your camera settings. Is your composition as good as possible? Did you autofocus in the right place? Have you done everything possible to improve the lighting conditions? And don't listen to what people have to tell you. Avoid reviewing photos in the field. Sure, it's a bad idea to review photos when something amazing is happening in front of you, but you almost always have some downtime in between shots. Figure out problems with an image in the field, not back at your computer or editing app. Move your feet. It's easy to get stuck in one place while you're taking pictures. Don't fall into that trap. Instead, move your feet as much as possible. Climb on top of things, change the height of your camera, walk forward, backward, whatever you need to do, but keep moving. If you take a dozen photos from the same height, facing the same direction without moving your feet, guess what? They won't be very different. Moving around is the only way to change the relative size, positions, and objects in your photo. Number 6, try something new. The more you experiment with photography, the more interesting it becomes. It's easy to fall into a routine and take similar photos over and over, but there's nothing wrong with that. But it is also important to try something new from time to time. Usually, you'll discover something new, either a new technique or a new personal preference, that you might bring back to your regular photography for good results. Meet other photographers. Meeting other photographers is the best way to keep learning, improving, either on inspiration or advice. You'll be surprised how many people enjoy sharing their tips and techniques with other photographers. You rarely encounter secrecy or disdain. Even the great Ansel Adams wrote several books explaining his photographic techniques. If you're the type of person who prefers self-guiding training in photography, this still applies. Ask questions, online forums, email photographers whose work you admire, and otherwise save resources you find valuable. No matter what, don't stop learning. There's always more to learn. Number 8, travel and find good locations for photography. I know this is hard during the pandemic, but don't just sit at home and expect great photos. Find a local and state parks, or even perhaps if you're close to one, a national park. Look for potential good spots for photography. Number 9, take lots of pictures and experiment. The more you photograph, the more you learn. As simple as that. Use every opportunity to capture images, whether it's early in the morning or late at night. By taking lots of pictures, you will start to understand how to use your camera in different lighting conditions. At the same time, when your pictures don't come out as good, you will start to do some more research, reading articles, books, magazine, and online forums. Try to figure out a solution to your problem. Eventually, you'll learn from your mistakes and gain a great deal of knowledge on how to use your gear effectively. Number 10, practice and have fun. As I mentioned in the intro, practice, practice, It's a tip that will get you ahead of any skill, not just photography. In short, The more time you spend in photography, the easier it will be to take photos that you have in your mind. And remember, photography is supposed to be fun. Think about why you're taking pictures. It's meaningful. It's a way to see amazing sights, meet brilliant, creative people. No surprise, the best photographers I know are always the one having the most fun with it. And that wraps up this course on visual arts and photography. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching and participating. I hope you got something out of this course, and remember, practice and have fun.